Senior Engineering Inspector Zix Carroll had overseen the construction of 17 different Starship classes across 4 galactic sectors, but nothing had prepared him for his first inspection of a human vessel. The UES Endurance hung in the maintenance bay like a scarred predator, its hull bearing the distinctive patchwork that marked a ship that had seen real combat. "Structural integrity readings are unusual," he muttered into his recording device, his 3 eyes scanning the preliminary data. The ship showed stress patterns that should have resulted in catastrophic failure, yet here it was, not only intact, but requesting routine maintenance clearance. Chief Engineer Sarah Martinez met him at the airlock, her coveralls stained with what his scanner identified as 17 different chemical compounds, several of which were classified as hazardous materials on most civilized worlds. "Inspector Zix Carroll," she said, extending a hand that his sensors warned contained trace amounts of industrial solvents. "Thanks for coming out. I know human ships aren't exactly standard fare for galactic engineering corps." Zix Carroll carefully accepted the handshake, noting how this human's grip could have easily crushed his more delicate appendages. "It is my duty to ensure all vessels meet safety standards before departure. Your maintenance request mentions extensive repairs?" "Nothing we can't handle," Martinez replied cheerfully, leading him through corridors that his structural analysis indicated were operating at 127% of recommended stress tolerance. "Though I should warn you, some of our solutions might seem a bit unconventional." The first stop was engineering, where Zix Carroll's scanner immediately began registering readings that made no sense. The primary reactor was operating within normal parameters, but the cooling system appeared to be jury-rigged from components that belonged to at least 4 different technological paradigms. "This cooling assembly," he said slowly, "appears to incorporate Viridian heat exchangers, Alteran coolant pumps, and are those Terran automotive radiators?" "Good eye," said Martinez. "We lost our primary cooling array to a plasma torpedo 3 weeks ago. The nearest human fleet depot was 2 months away, so we improvised." Zix Carroll stared at the impossible configuration. According to every engineering principle he knew, this system should have failed within hours. The thermal coefficients alone should have caused a cascade failure. How is this functioning? "Well, the Viridian units run too hot for our reactor output, so we overclock the Alteran pumps to compensate. But that creates pressure differential issues, which the Terran radiators actually solve because they're built to handle Earth's insane atmospheric conditions." "Earth's atmospheric conditions?" Martinez grinned. "Corrosive oxygen mix, extreme temperature variations, frequent electrical storms. Earth car radiators are basically designed for a hostile environment, perfect for space combat applications." Zix Carroll made notes, trying to ignore how this violated approximately 37 different safety regulations. "And this has been stable for 3 weeks?" "Stable? Hell, it's running 12% more efficiently than the original system." If you're enjoying this story of human ingenuity, make sure to subscribe to Apex Fleet HFY for more tales of humanity's unstoppable determination. They moved to the weapons bay, where Zix Carroll's horror deepened. The primary plasma cannon showed clear signs of catastrophic overload. Its focusing array melted and reformed in patterns that should have made the weapon completely inoperable. "This weapon system has been destroyed," he stated flatly. "Nah, just recalibrated," said Weapons Chief Rodriguez, emerging from behind the massive cannon. "Lost our crystals focusing to a hegemony cruiser, but we found a workaround." "A workaround for crystalline focusing arrays?" Turns out, if you pulse the plasma at specific intervals and route it through these secondary channels we carved out. Rodriguez patted the scorched metal affectionately. you can actually get better beam coherence than the original design. Zix-Corral's scanner showed him readings that defied physics. You carved channels? In a plasma cannon? With cutting torches, yeah. It took about 6 hours. Had to do it while under fire too, which made the measurements tricky. You performed precision modifications to a weapon system while in combat. The hegemony wasn't going to wait for us to reach a starbase, Rodriguez shrugged. Besides, combat testing is the best way to know if your modifications actually work. Zix-Corral stared at what amounted to controlled chaos masquerading as engineering. His database contained no reference for this type of field modification. And this functions? Better than functions. Watch this. Rodriguez activated the cannon's targeting system, and Zix-Corral watched in fascination as the improvised weapon achieved a beam coherence rating that exceeded military specifications by 23%. Impossible, he whispered. Just creative problem solving, Rodriguez replied. Humans have been jury-rigging solutions since we learned to use tools. Space combat just gives us more interesting problems to solve. The tour continued through the ship, each section revealing new impossibilities. The navigation array had been rebuilt from spare parts that included components from mining equipment, scientific sensors, and what appeared to be entertainment systems. The life support system incorporated agricultural technology, waste processing units, and devices Zix-Corral couldn't even identify. What are those? He asked, pointing to cylindrical objects integrated into the air recycling system. Beer fermentation tanks, Martiz answered casually. You've incorporated alcohol production into life support. Yeast processing actually improves air recycling efficiency by 8%, she explained. Plus, crew morale is important on long deployments. If this is blowing your mind like it is mine, hit that like button to let us know you want more incredible human engineering stories. Zix-Corral's preliminary report was becoming a dissertation on impossibility. Every system on the ship violated established engineering principles, yet somehow worked better than original specifications. It was as if humans had taken the concept of proper engineering and decided to improve it through controlled chaos. Inspector, Martinez said as they reached the bridge, I can see you're having trouble with our methods. But here's the thing about human engineering. We don't design ideal conditions. We design for when everything goes wrong. But these modifications violate basic safety protocols. Do they? Martinez gestured to a screen showing the ship's performance metrics. We've been operating for 6 months straight with 0 system failures. Compare that to the galactic standard vessels in our fleet, which require depot-level maintenance every 6 weeks. Zix-Corral examined the data. It was true. The Endurance showed reliability ratings that exceeded anything in his experience. But how do you maintain quality control with such improvisational methods? Because we understand our equipment, said Chief Rodriguez, joining them on the bridge. When you build something from spare parts while people are shooting at you, you learn every component intimately. We know exactly how every jury-rig system works because we built it ourselves. And when it breaks? Zix-Corral asked. We fix it, Martinez said simply, with whatever we have available. That's what humans do. Zix-Corral spent the next hour reviewing performance logs, maintenance records, and battle damage reports. The pattern was consistent. Impossible modifications that shouldn't work, yet consistently outperformed standard equipment. The humans hadn't just adapted to their limitations. They had turned those limitations into advantages. Inspector, Martinez said as he completed his evaluation, I know our methods seem unconventional, but they work. We've kept this ship running through battles that would have crippled vessels twice our size. Zix looked around the bridge, with its mixture of standard controls and improvised interfaces, its patched hull plates and jury-rigged systems. By every standard he knew, this ship should be condemned as unsafe. Yet the evidence was undeniable. It was one of the most effective combat vessels he'd ever inspected. "Chief Martinez," he said slowly, "how do you train engineers for this type of adaptive methodology?" "You can't train for it," she replied. "It's not a methodology, it's a mindset. Humans grew up on a world that was constantly trying to kill us, so we learned to make do with whatever was available. That didn't change when we reached space. Your entire species approaches engineering as survival improvisation. Pretty much. We call it making it work. Whether it's fixing a broken reactor with automotive parts or rebuilding a weapons array with cutting torches, the principle is the same. Use what you have, ignore what the manual says, and make it work better than it did before. Drop a comment below and let us know, what's the most creative fix you've ever seen or done yourself? Whether it's cars, computers, or starships. We want to hear your best jury-rigging stories. Zix-Corral's final report to the Galactic Engineering Corps required significant revision. His initial assessment had focused on whether the Endurance met minimum safety standards. The reality was far more significant. Subject vessel demonstrates engineering methodology previously unknown to Galactic Engineering Corps, he dictated. Human approach to mechanical systems appears to prioritize adaptability over standardization, resulting in superior performance under adverse conditions. He paused, watching through the observation port, as Martinez and her team began installing what appeared to be mining laser components into the ship's defensive array. Recommend immediate study of human engineering practices for potential incorporation into galactic standard procedures. Preliminary analysis suggests human improvisation methodology could revolutionize space vessel design and maintenance protocols. As the Endurance prepared for departure, Zix-Corral realized he had witnessed something unprecedented. Humans hadn't just learned to survive in space, they had redefined what survival meant. Where other species saw broken equipment, humans saw opportunities for improvement. "Chief Martinez," he called out as she passed by the observation deck. "Yes, Inspector? What do you call a ship that's been improved beyond its original specifications through field modifications?" Martinez grinned, that peculiar human expression that somehow conveyed both satisfaction and anticipation for future challenges. "We call it ready for whatever comes next." Zix-Corral made his final note. Human vessels should not be evaluated by standard metrics. They should be evaluated by their ability to exceed what should be possible. By this measure, the UES Endurance is the most perfectly engineered vessel in the fleet. As he watched the impossible ship depart, its improvised systems running flawlessly, Zix-Corral understood that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology. It was their absolute refusal to accept that anything was unfixable. The Endurance jumped to hyperspace, its jury-rigged drive system operating at 110% efficiency, carrying a crew that had turned mechanical improvisation into an art form. Somewhere in the galaxy, another impossible problem was waiting for human ingenuity to solve it.